Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we are talking a cult movie, and a lot of people call this a cult movie. It's from 1981. It's a film by John Landis, and there's a lot of teeth and claws in this, and a lot of hair. Yeah, that's it, Ethan. I think you've got it off to a T. It's Mary Poppins. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's an American Werewolf in London. So we will talk to these guys about this movie today, and we'll have opening thoughts to begin with. Sorry, Brian was just putting me off there, but we'll have opening thoughts, and we'll go to Beef Dad for opening thoughts on American Werewolf in London.
Well, I went to see this when it first came out. It's so well done. It's such an excellent story. I always remember the you've got the two Americans over here visiting and just exploring, and they go onto the moors, and one gets ripped to pieces, and the other one gets bitten and becomes a werewolf, which is not a normal thing in England, I must confess. You expect that to happen more in Transylvania than you do over here, but it worked very well. The point where David Kessler has become a werewolf and actually does his first change is pretty brilliant. That is brilliantly done, the changing into a werewolf. So good. And of course he had been nursed by Jenny Agutter. I didn't expect Jenny Agutter to be in a horror film at that time, because what she was known for was one of the little girls in the Railway Children.
Yeah.
And that was what she really made her name doing. But you had, before they went out onto the moors, they were in this pub, and you had Brian Glover playing chess, and Rick Mayall playing chess. You didn't expect that. But the first night after he goes mental out, he kills loads of people, and then he wakes up in the zoo the next morning stark naked. Just so funny. The sort of build up to the finale in the porn cinema in Piccadilly was just absolutely brilliant. Of course, what they did in Piccadilly Circus with the car crashes and everything was just absolutely amazing. And the one thing I have missed out is, previous to the porn, there was one point where he was in the London Underground. There was a guy on his own who got ate by him. And I remember going to the cinema up in town to watch An American Werewolf in London and getting the tube to come home. And unusually enough, in Piccadilly, the tube was the tube station. Well, the particular platform that I was on was empty, and some absolute bastard howled while I was standing there on my own. on the platform, and I just heard this howl, and I thought, oh my god. But yeah, it's a sort of story between David Norton and Jenny Agutter, and the love is there right till the very end when he is shot. And yeah, it's just extraordinary. There are a few funny, I mean, especially in the porn cinema, but his friend Jack that was killed keeps turning up, but he as a sort of spectre, and each time he turns up, he is rotting more and more and more. And that made me laugh, but it was very well done and most enjoyable.
Right, thank you for that, Beef Dad. Ethan, over to you.
Well, I gotta say, Jeffrey, that was a brilliant story about the car on the train. That was really good. Yeah, this film, I love this film so much. It still holds up today. This film is, to me, one of the best movies of all time and one of the best horror films of all time. And it came out in 1981, which pretty much was Year of the Werewolf. You had, what was it? You had The Howling, which is another great werewolf movie. And there was another film as well, Wolfen, that came out. But to me, this is the ultimate werewolf movie. For me, anyway. This is the definitive, ultimate werewolf movie that just got it right for the modern age. I love this film. Everything about it. John Landis, who did Animal House and the music video to Michael Jackson's Thriller, which you could see with his Kessler's friend, who turns into the zombies, the different makeups. You could see that from, it's like he's come from the music video of Thriller. But what a great film. I love this film so much. You've got so many great actors in this, from like the opening bit with the slaughtered lamb. You've got Lila Kay as the pub lady, and Brian Glover, a very young Rick Mayall, and the darts player, what was his name? David Schofield. Is that how you pronounce his name? David Schofield? David Schofield?
Schofield.
That's him. Yep. And he's been in a few things, but what a great cast. David Norton as Kessler himself, Jenny Agutter, who's brilliant in this, and looks fantastic as well. John Woodvine, Hirsch, Dr. Hirsch himself, and a great cameo from Frank Oz, which was random and brilliant somehow. But I think because John Landis and Frank Oz were good mates or something. But yeah, what a great movie. I mean, I love this film because of the build-up to the werewolf. It's one of these things I've always loved in horrors, where they have those monsters, these great famous monsters, be it vampires or werewolves, and you don't quite see them completely until the very end, or near the end anyway. The design for this wolf is brilliant. It's, to me, the best design of a wolf. You're just, you'd imagine it. This massive hulking thing on all fours. This horrific-looking creature. And, the transformation. That's the most iconic moment. The design for that, the effects. And it still stands the test of time. I mean, back then, everybody was like, whoa! I remember my dad said he saw it at the cinema, and he was like, what the... he thought he loved it. But yeah, you've got some great comedy moments, and as it's been mentioned, but I'll mention in my favorite moments, that the porn cinema. I actually love it because I've mentioned this many times before, like back in 1981, be it America or here, they always had out in the open a porn cinema or a sex movie for the whole world to see. And I've just seen Joker, and it does the exact same thing. And so I love just how it looks. great soundtrack as well from one of my favorite bands, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bad Moon Rising. I mean, what a perfect song to hint of the horrors that are coming and the gore and everything at Piccadilly Circus. What an absolute, carnage scene. But yeah, it's, to me, one of the best. That's all I could say about it. I love every detail and style and nightmare and dream and scene with zombies and the undead. It's brilliant. I love it.
There you go. Thanks for that, Ethan. Alex and Susan, what's your opening thoughts on this movie? You're muted, Susan.
I don't know when I got muted. That's pretty weird. Anyway, I love the discount Robert Downey Jr. like David Naughton and Griffin Dunn was great. And let's see. I think that I heard one time that Beef Dad knew Rick Mayall, so that's stinking awesome. And the guy Brian Glover who played the the butler or valet in Campion was also, freaking sweet to see him in this. And so it was a good story, good effects, good cast, really great atmosphere. Every time somebody says the Moors, I just think of just like a flat grassy area with some scrub and mist and a werewolf. It's the way I think of England. I must say I apologize to anyone who lives actually on the moors, and it's actually something more geographical than that. But that's just my theory on this subject. And so and the way I think of the Moors, it also translates into the way I think of them in terms of Sherlock Holmes stories or whatever. It all comes from this particular movie. I guess I saw it at an impressionable age. Must have been 12 years old then, and so yeah, I saw it and I liked it, and anyway, it was kind of dramatic. And so here is, and I like the romance between the nurse and David. And I think in my last cast I said David as meaning Boone, but in this case I really do mean David. So even though I screwed up the last podcast that we did, this one really, anyway, here's Alex.
Yeah, this is one of my mother's favorite movies to love and hate at the same time. It's very well done. It's not too fancy. It does keep up the suspense. I liked most of it. I didn't really see the movie as a whole. It's not bad. The sequel in '97 wasn't very good. But yeah, the transformation, the effects are good, the acting's good, the location is good. So yeah, I'd probably give it an 8. I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't insisted on redoing this one as well, but hopefully they won't be allowed. The soundtrack's pretty good as well. I guess they wanted to add Cat Stevens and a couple of other people, and they said no. so they had to work around it.
Right then, Brian.
Yes,
Have you seen this one before?
I have not. This is my first time of seeing American Werewolf.
So, what do you think to it?
I think I hated it. I'm just kidding. No, I actually no. But no, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a good film. Um, I would s- I would say for film wise, I would say that it is enjoyable, but the the special effects for the special effects that they had for like the werewolf and everything, I seemed a bit cheesy, and I didn't really as well as the werewolf transformation, the werewolf transformation scene that they had, but it was a bit off and ridiculous.
Can I stop you there then? So, if you're saying that's cheesy, what's your ideal werewolf transformation in a movie?
Um, I would take them like maybe the Wolfman remake transformation.
Well, that's pretty similar.
Really?
Yeah,
You tell him, Alex.
yeah, it's pretty similar. It really is. I mean, again, remember, this is supposed to be an offbeat comedy as well, so it's not going to be perfect. But I mean, I hate to say it, Brian, but most of the world doesn't agree with you. They agree that this is 95%, if not 90,
And
in terms
it
of the.
didn't. I mean, I didn't laugh. I didn't get the comedy.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, remember, it's John Landis, so you're talking about Animal House and Blues Brothers and other,
Never heard.
things. And the
Never
humor, the
heard. Or
humor
saw,
is very dry.
never heard or saw any of those films. So
Yeah, that's fine, but they still were made, so you can watch them.
no.
Well,
Didn't we review that one time?
What, the Blues Brothers? Yeah, we reviewed the Blues
yeah,
Brothers.
Brian,
I don't think I was in it though.
Okay, well.
Bummer.
Anyway, the only good, decent special effects I would say would be the undead characters that they showed within the movie. I mean, the werewolf kind of looked like the werewolf visual and special effects that they had kind of looked like a puppet, kind of.
Well, first of all, it's 1981, so you're not going to have 2019 effects in 1981. Second of all, most people agree that the effects in this movie are very good. So you can disagree, of course, but
I mean, I didn't. It's not like it's not like I'm a hate. It's not like I hate the movie. I like the movie. It's just that some of the visual effects I didn't really
all right, well,
particularly
I mean, like
enjoy.
I said, it's 1981, so think about that.
but also you've got to realise, Alex, that Brian's watching it with first time, and he's watching it with he's been spoiled with special effects.
Yeah.
He's the young guy of the group, so he's used to all these multi-million-pound special effects movies.
Well,
This
even
was
practical. Was
this
this?
this is practical effects. That was the guy in a costume, laid on a floor, transforming.
Yeah. And remember that, there was only maybe 3 other movies competing with that back then.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you got to think about that this was in 81. based on a movie from what, the 1940s or whatever?
I mean, I like practical effects. I mean, I like the practical effects that John Carpenter used within his films.
Wow. Okay, but it's a different director.
And I was going to say, but I was going to mention this in favorite moments. One of the things you'll find is because it's so slow was John Landis wanted for this style of transformation to wolf to be painful as hell. He wanted it to feel like your bones and muscles are stretching and cracking. Your whole body is ripping apart into being this wolf. He wanted it to be the most painful experience ever. So that's how it looks at, and that's, I suppose, why it is one of the best transformations of being transforming into a werewolf, because it's painful.
Yeah, because back in the day, back to say the Wolfman in the 1940s or whatever it was, all you used to see was the face, really. The face change.
But what about the body? What does the body go through?
Well, that's what I mean. This was a full body transformation. So, but completely understandable, Brian. You've entitled to that opinion.
I mean, I will say though, I've not seen the werewolf until mostly, pretty much towards the end of the film. Again, I think it's a good thing because, like I said before in another review, that not seeing a particularly scary, threatened thing is a good thing because it leaves you the element of surprise and leaves it up to the imagination of that particular scary threat, and it makes it much more intimidating and scary if you don't see it.
I agree. I totally agree with you there. So,
but yeah, I mean, I as a first timer seeing this film, I do enjoy the movie and the film, and most of the visual and special effects I do like. It's just that something about the werewolf I didn't really like as much. It looked cool, but there's just something missing that I didn't really particularly I guess enjoy.
well, you're entitled to that opinion, Brian. We're not going to hound you.
But there is in the movie I did notice a song that I noticed and like that I've heard a million times before, which is Bad Moon is Rising. Because I've heard it a couple times on the radio, and it was played on the season 1 finale of Supernatural, and at the very last scene.
You see that song, Bad Moon Rising, and also the song what the film begins with, Blue Moon, is the part of the humor of the film. You got songs about the moon because it's a werewolf movie. You wouldn't expect them sort of songs to be in this movie. That was John Landis's humor coming in straight away into the movie. So, but it's good choices of music for this though. It does, because it stands out. People remember those things.
Yeah, but I thought it ended kind of weird too. I mean, the way that it ended, like they just shoot him down dead, and then it ends.
Well, he was dead.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
where can you go from there? That's it.
I thought there would be at least. I thought there would be at least another scene or two with like a couple of the other characters, but
well, there might have been. It might have been edited. You don't know. It might be cut out. But that's how John Landis finished the movie.
I mean, it kind of felt like what they did within both of the Wolfman movies, like the original one and the remake.
It's like an abrupt end.
Mm-hmm.
Death is the end. Boom. Yeah. Well, but
Yeah, that's my thought upon the movie.
hey, but at least you have got an opinion on this, and brilliant. You know, everybody's got a difference of opinion. I like it. Right, it's me then, isn't it? Ooh. I agree with what Brian said about the werewolf. The transformation is absolutely awesome, but I don't think they should have shown the full thing at the end, to be honest, because it is dated. That it does look dated. It does, as he said, it looked like a puppet. It's a puppet. It looked like it was a puppet. It did. I've got to agree with that. They should have left it to the imagination, as Brian said. The scene where he's on the escalator going upstairs from the underground, where it's just creeping into the shot at the bottom of the escalator. That's what they should have kept doing, because that looks okay. But then when it was in Trafalgar Square, it did look a bit puppetry. You know what I mean? It did for me personally. But back in the day, it was most probably awesome. But that part hasn't dated too well. But the transformation, I absolutely love the transformation. The humour is there. It is there. I mean, when he wakes up into the in the zoo with the wolves, and then he nicks the kids' balloons. You know, a naked American that's just on me balloon. But yeah, and it did. I mean, I didn't understand. I still don't really understand the zombie Nazis in the dream. I don't really understand what was going on there. It wasn't really explained that well on that. Well done, but it just didn't really fit with the movie. Yeah, brilliant performances. You say everybody's mentioned Brian Glover, Rick Mail, John Woodvan. Also, there was the police sergeant. I can't remember his name, the actor. Oh, but he played the landlord in The Demons, John Pertwee story. I can't remember his name. Got his head cut off by the werewolf at the end. I can't remember his name, but there was all these supporting actors in it, which was brilliant. And as I say, you don't expect Jenny Agutter to be in a movie like this, because she's so saintly, and she could be a nun, but she definitely wasn't in this one. But I mean, it's supposed to be set. It's the Yorkshire Moors, isn't it, where this happens? Yes, Ethan.
Sorry, I've just remembered Don McKillop.
Oh right, cheers.
The guy who played the inspector, and he was the landlord in The Demons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be set in the North Yorkshire Moors, not too far from where I am. But so beware the moon. But
Are you telling us something, Lee?
well, if the third finger of my left hand is longer than my middle finger, I'm aware. No, something like that, isn't it? I've lost track again. No, yeah. It's set in the North Yorkshire Moors at the beginning. You've got the character of the Doctor, John Woodvine, travelling up North Yorkshire Moors and back down to London in a space of how long? The timing wasn't right for me. I know I'm a bit picky there. I'm thinking, you can't do that in 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
Are you train spotting too?
Yeah. But hey, that's just me.
I will agree with that, yeah. Now that you mention it, I did think, that's not right, unless you're a Time Lord.
Well, he was in Doctor Who. He was in the Armageddon Factor. He played the Marshal. All these Doctor Who things. And you've got also the barmaid, the landlady in this. Is it Layla Kate? Lala. She was a well-known British actress of the day.
Yeah, I just said it. Lila Kay.
Layla Kate. I mean, she went over to America and did stuff there in the early 80s. She did a sitcom over there, but she was mainly over it, in the British TV and stuff like that. Yeah, I enjoy it. It's, as I say, the werewolf bit at the end is a bit dated. The Trafalgar Square thing, wow, as Beef Dad said, what they did and that, the cars and everything, how they got that filmed is amazing. Because it looked like it was done at night. And was it early Sunday morning where there was not many people about? You don't know. I mean, it's always busy around there. So I don't know how they did it. But yeah, and you did have Frank Oz. Frank Oz did 2 cameos in this, you know.
Oh yeah, Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy. But yeah, I think he was a good friend of John Landis because he was also in the Blues Brothers as well. So yeah, I enjoyed this. It's good to rewatch it. So we'll go favourite moments or things what you weren't keen on, and we'll do the scores as well. So Beef Dad. Yes.
Your favourite moments and scores?
Well, whatever you want to do. It's
Favourite moments? Yeah, the first time they go into the pub and the way everything goes quiet and everyone's looking at them, it is just so typical of strangers walking into a pub where you've got regulars. And exactly the same thing happened to the doctor when he went there. And of course, 5-pointed star on the wall. And yeah, the first appearance of the dead friend Jack was very good. And his second appearance standing outside the cinema was just, and he beckons him in. He goes into the cinema, sits with his rotting dead friend, who then introduces him to all the people that he killed the previous night. That was just absolutely mad. It was funny, and especially with sex going on the cinema screen, that was just so crazy. The whole thing was really funny. Yeah, the first transformation was brilliantly done. And yeah, it was nice to see Rick in it. Of course, another person that I know was in it. He played one of the policemen. And he'd done EastEnders. And oddly enough, he played a murderer in EastEnders. What's his name? Oh God, it's gone. Yeah, but yeah, he was. What's his name? Oh, that's the trouble with this. One of the joys of old age. Yeah.
Was he
John
Paul Kember?
No, John Altman.
John Altman.
Yeah, John Altman.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, he was the murderer of.
John Salthouse?
He was the murderer of the person that they found in the first episode of EastEnders. But yeah, and as I say, after that sort of transformation in there, when the police go in and see all the dead bodies everywhere, I mean, it's just so much blood and dead body. It's extraordinary. That I thought, and then in Trafalgar Square, the cars and the car crashes and the people being run over by cars was just absolutely extraordinary stuff. And I must confess, I did like the puppy that they finally decided to shoot. I thought that was rather cute. And the thing is, it was lupine. It was definitely lupine, and yeah, that worked for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the thing is, as I say, from the memories that I have of this, and from the memories of the night when I went out to actually see it in town and what happened, it gets a 10.
Oh, first 10. Let's see if we can make this a full house. I don't think it's going to happen, but hey ho.
Well, it won't be Brian because he's barely conscious.
Hey, I'm conscious here. I'm moving.
he's moving. He's grooving. Alex and Susan, over to you two.
So, my favorite moment was, I will agree, is in the porn theater in Piccadilly, watching See You Next Wednesday, with oh gosh, I can't remember the actor's name. Anyway, I guess I can look it up. But anyway, meeting all the people that he killed, that was great. I really liked I love it when they first walk in. That's also true. And I love it when they're walking on the moor, because that informed my whole view of what the moors really are. So yeah, those are my favorite moments. And here's Alex.
The pub is funny. The in the tube is funny. He's over there with the nurse, and the sort of funny accidental tribute of sort of The Walking Dead of this zombie sort of. And unfortunately, he's right. I mean, he does have to kill himself. But of course, he won't do it because he's still, mostly human. And it's not until the end that, he finally gets killed. But it wasn't a favorite part of mine to see people, in a 20-car pileup or getting run over or things like that. But I think the movie might have been criticized more if they didn't have that in there. But like I said, the soundtrack's good, the actors are good, the special effects are good. And I don't even know how much this movie's budget was, but we sure as heck know it wasn't $100 million, that's for sure. But it's a cult movie. It's been a cult movie forever. So, somebody else must like it.
Oh yeah.
I know plenty of people that don't like British TV shows, and they'll watch this for days and days. So,
cool. Susan, what did you say your score, Susan? I know Alex said his score earlier on.
Oh, all right. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Great.
10. Cool. Ethan, down to you, mate.
No worries, mate. Favorite moments. The whole opening, it's been mentioned, the whole opening bit in the Yorkshire Moors is brilliant. And I think I mentioned this before some time ago, but a little fun fact for you. The whole bit, obviously the whole opening, is filmed in the Yorkshire Moors until the bit when they leave and it's all dark and foggy. And the wolf is surrounding them. That whole bit was filmed in a place called the Great Park in Windsor. And that was right next door to me.
What?
And my mum and dad were there. You know, they're thinking, what is going on? And my mum and dad remember telling me, saying that they filmed American Werewolf in London, not far from where we used to live.
So are you saying that your mom and dad are werewolves?
No, I am.
Oh.
I am. I'm joking. But yeah, that, like I said, the whole bit up to the bit where they leave the slaughtered lamb and it's all dark and his mate gets ripped apart by the wolf. That was filmed in the Great Park in Windsor. And like I said, my mum and dad remember the time. So, but that whole bit in the bar, the pub, that was brilliant. They all played the part so perfectly, keeping quiet about the curse of the werewolf. That was great. I love all the nightmare scenes. Now that Lee's pointed it out, it is a bit weird with the Nazi werewolves. Personally, I've always thought it was quite weird, and maybe it is part of John Landis's weird humor or something, just some twisted nightmare or something. Yeah, these Nazi werewolves. Great nightmare. It's a great nightmare scene, They killed the kids. Back in the time, they said they couldn't kill the kids. You see the kids blooded.
Yeah.
So fair play to him. So all the nightmare scenes and every scene his mate, Kessler's mate, was in when he was, every scene he's decaying. I mean, I've said it before, what a great effect. And the design of him, and it just looks great. Practical effects with me is always the best because it's the most real, the most gruesome, and it's there. And it's been mentioned anyway, the porn cinema bit. How funny can you get to see, sitting there and there's a zombie undead watching a porn film going, "Samurai Night movie." And then say, "See them, you kill them. And then you kill them in the bar," and this and that. That was great. I mean, that's laugh out loud funny. That's brilliant how they're describing. You could kill yourself with this, you could kill yourself with that. I do agree with Lee, because I did think this when I watched it again. The werewolf bit is when he's running or anything. He's a great design, but he is kind of dated. It is dated. I do agree with that. But
it's nearly 40 years old, so come on.
It is dated. But I think that's one of the reasons why I like this, that there's not many scenes with the werewolf. So it still works. You can still see it and go, yes, it is dated, but it's very quick bits, isn't it? And I think that it keeps with the fact, like, you don't see that werewolf very often. I mean, if they did it like just little bits, it'd probably be more effective these days anyway. But, they had little bits, so it still keeps that horror and terror, like not seeing the full thing, just this quick movement of a werewolf. But, the whole Piccadilly Circus bit, brilliant. And the whole bit with him totally naked, in this bit with the werewolves, if I get any calls, hold them, or something like that. He said something like that, like a joke, trying to get out of the cage. And he steals the balloons from the kid. Yeah, as Liam said, naked American man took my balloons. What? And he's at the bus stop with a long red coat. It's brilliant. But I think those are my favorite scenes. I mean, the whole film's brilliant. It's so well done. And it never gets old practical effects for me, because those are the most gory.
Yeah.
I sound twisted, but that's what I like.
If you like horror movies,
I do. I love horror films.
You have to have a certain interest to like these sort of movies. What would you give it?
It's made me want to watch The Howling again, because I do love The Howling, I remember, and I haven't seen that in ages, but I am going to have to give this a 10 out of 10, because I do love this film. Ever since I was a kid, I was always into werewolves and vampires and stuff. And
I still am.
Yeah, I still am. I still am as well, but I am going to give it a 10 out of 10, because I do hold this film close to my heart, because I love how it's done. I mean, as it said, set in London. Set in London and the Yorkshire Moors. anywhere else. It might have been America or Transylvania, but good setting as well. It worked. So a 10 out of 10. 10 fangs.
10 pounds. Right, now, here's the moment of truth. Brian,
It's my turn.
we're coming to you for your score on the doors.
Okay.
Any favourite bits, if you've got any?
I think my favorite moment would probably have to be the subway chasing. Within the film, like the guy is getting chased by the werewolf in the subway. Then I believe my second would be the probably have to be when the probably the it'll probably be at the end of the towards the end of the movie from when the werewolf is in the middle of London itself and go about throughout the London, and everybody's running scared, and they and running scared, and some of them are chasing the wolf. Police are coming and trying to kill it. Unfortunately, they do. And then I think probably my last and final favorite would be the probably for probably the probably every time his friend would come to visit, like when he comes out as a dead corpse, and as every visit his body deteriorates and becomes worse and worse each time he comes to visit.
Good makeup for that, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it looks a bit like I mean, one makeup design with the face, it kind of reminded me of Two-Face from The Dark Knight.
Yeah, but that was sort of CGI though. That wasn't.
I know that was CGI, but
sort of similar.
Yeah, with the eyeball, the way it looks like the.
And you get to see the bone and the bone and gum tissue on the jawline and everything. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of a little bit like that, but yeah, those are, I believe, my favorite moments within the film.
So what number would you give it then, Brian?
I'd probably give this film a 7 out of 10.
That's not bad, seeing as you've never seen.
Yeah, good score actually. Very good score.
Your scoring's getting better, Brian. For me, there's so many good things in this. As you said, as they walk into the village pub, it just goes deathly silent, and they all look at you. That's like any local pub in Hull. I'll tell you now. The Piccadilly Circus thing, as I said before, that was just so well shot. It's just amazing how they did that, and the transformation, of course. But there's one scene, the humour in this. There's one scene what nobody's mentioned is in the porn cinema, and it's the film. And there's the naked guy and the naked woman on the bed, and this other guy walks in and says, "You promised me you wouldn't do this anymore." And the guy turns around and says, "I never promised you anything." And the guy says, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to her."
Yeah, that was
from the movie See You Next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's just that's a bit of humour in there. That was just, and then it's. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was Lindsay Drew,
Yeah,
And Lucian Morgan, Dave Cooper, and Susan Spencer.
yeah. It's just that slotted in there with that humour. There humour is in the movie, but it just made me giggle when that happened because you don't expect that to be in this sort of movie. I'm giving it.
What was it? What was it? Naughty Nina as well.
You know what?
Oh, yeah, Naughty Nina in the commercials and stuff. That was great.
I'm not really into my porn, Susan. So you tell me more.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I wrote.
Well, actually, I'm going to list it. No, I'm only joking. Only joking.
I enjoyed it. As I said, I still think the wolf thing at the end is a bit, but I'm still giving it a 10 because it's still an amazing movie. Because without this movie, none of the other movies what we've had since then would have moved on. We wouldn't have had the effects that we get now.
Are you talking about the Twilight series?
No, I'm talking about any movie what uses those sort of effects. Not just one particular, not one particular movie, but you say without what they did in this movie, we wouldn't have moved along with special effects. We'd have been stuck in a rut, I think. This changed movie making. I think this movie for the better. I think. I mean, okay, CGI came along, but they still used it.
Yeah, this was really good.
Yeah, a 10 from me. So we have now finished talking about An American Werewolf in London. We seem to have all enjoyed it, brought back some good memories and some funny memories. I'd like to thank you guys for talking about this movie today. You guys out there, if you like this movie, let us know what you thought of it. If you want to join us, please get in touch. We're online 24/7 most of the time because we've got nothing better to do. I live in this little square box. I don't move out of this. There's no door. It's just that I can't get out of here. But yeah, please get in touch if you want to join us. We don't bite, not that much. Only on a full moon we do, but that's another thing. We don't talk about it. That's why that was the cat. I think he's hungry. Meow. So until next time, keep to the road. Keep clear of the moors and beware the moon. So bye bye for now.